Hey guys, welcome to my video. Fight fans, I am your one and only host with the most, the J-Man, and I'm here to bring you my exciting and very definitive UFC 126 main event predictions. Okay, now I also want to talk briefly about some of the undercard. We do have a very interesting light heavyweight fight between a returning Rich Franklin and a returning Forrest Griffin, so that'll be a very interesting battle. And then we have a top contenders fight between John Jones and undefeated Ryan Bader. So the two very influential, important fights. Alright, but focusing on Anderson Silva, I want to get to my point about Anderson Silva. I've been highly critical of him in the past. If you saw my other video that got a ton of comments and speculation, the video was called the Anderson Silva Embarrassment, and just the response to that video has been huge, and I've been very thankful for that. But I want to illustrate a few points. When Anderson Silva acted out like that against Damian Maia, yeah, I felt that was very disrespectful, but not discrediting him as a fighter. I mean, his skills are his skills, and you can brag all day about that. But just his attitude towards fighting, I thought was very bad, and it was worth mentioning. I wanted to bring it up and get that out there so people knew about it. It's not necessarily that I thought it was such a big deal or that it made me absolutely hate him as a fighter. No, I don't really like the guy, and I still don't like the guy. But it's not like I loathe him or think that he's a disgrace to the UFC or any less of a fighter than he is. He's extremely talented and the best pound-for-pound guy out there right now. Although GSP could give him a run for his money, I'm still hoping that fight never takes place, though, because I feel like it's too much of a mismatch. But anyway, that's not the topic for this video. This video's topic is going to be no one in the UFC in the middleweight division has what it takes to beat Anderson Silva, including Vitor Belfort. Now, people think that Vitor Belfort is going to be the kryptonite to defeating Anderson Silva, the kryptonite to Anderson Silva. Because Vitor is such a great striker, and Anderson Silva has never really faced a striker of his level. And Anderson Silva has this sort of weakness against great striking. He can't handle a good puncher, and I think that is very far from the truth. Anderson Silva is a very experienced and talented boxer, and when you train in boxing, you don't just train on how to punch. You train on how to defend yourself, how to move. So, I mean, have we ever seen Anderson Silva really get caught or get hit repeatedly in a fight? I don't think so. The guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to get in and out, and just, you know, it's been proven in his other fights. So I don't think that Vitor Belfort, I don't think that his fists are going to give Anderson that much of a problem. Yeah, he's the fastest striker in MMA, but you know, Anderson already knows that going in. He's a smart guy. He makes good strategies. He will be able to avoid Vitor. You know, even if he has to take it to the ground and use his jiu-jitsu. Vitor is also a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so that should prove to be very interesting. I think that their boxing is pretty much going to neutralize each other, although Anderson does use more kicks than Vitor. That could come into play. On the ground, I still give the advantage to Anderson because Anderson has longer limbs. And standing up, yeah, like I said, standing up, I think it's pretty even, except maybe that Anderson's going to use his feet more. So it just depends. Now, Vitor could get lucky. He could slip a punch in and clean his clock, and that would be it for Anderson. And wow, that would be truly amazing to see. But I just doubt it's going to happen. I don't think Vitor really has what it takes to beat Anderson Silva. looking at Vitor Belfort's past, his previous fights, he's lost a lot of fights to some guys that, you know, they used to be top ranked, some really good fighters, but now these fighters over the years have seriously declined, like Chuck Liddell. He has a loss to Chuck Liddell way back, I forget what year it is, like 2004 or something, but back when Chuck was top contender for the light heavyweight title, he beat Vitor by unanimous decision. And, you know, I think that Chuck pretty much outstruck Vitor in that fight. I mean, that's hard to say, but looking at Vitor's fights, I think there's been a few times that he has been outstruck. He has losses to wrestlers like, you know, Tito Ortiz, which was just barely a loss, though. It was a split decision. Probably could have gone either way, but he did lose to Tito, and he lost to Randy Couture twice. But the interesting thing about Randy is he lost by TKO. All right. Now, you could argue and say that that was probably a ground and pound, and Randy Couture just out-wrestled him the whole fight. But then again, you know, a great striker probably wouldn't get himself caught in a takedown. Just my opinion. But, yeah, he has losses to other guys, too. He got submitted by Alistair Overeem. I think that was a middleweight fight. And he also got beat by Alistair Overeem by unanimous decision. So he's got plenty of losses. He's been around for a long time. You know, he's kind of an older guy. You know, for some reason, his skills haven't declined as much as Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, maybe even Randy Couture. I just don't think he has what it takes to beat Anderson Silva. So my prediction is going to be Anderson Silva by unanimous decision. Okay, moving on to the next fight on the card. We got, real quickly, I'm going to do Griffin versus Franklin. Two guys with similar styles, although I would say that Franklin is a little bit more technical, more precise with his striking. Griffin's striking is kind of loose, and he's more of a brawler. He sort of like leaves himself open on purpose just so that he can counter or get into those brawls, because he does have pretty good power. Having said that, Griffin's got a strength advantage and a size advantage. If he can use that to get Rich on the ground, I think he has a pretty good chance of out-wrestling him and overcoming Rich Franklin with his jiu-jitsu. Because Griffin's jiu-jitsu is very, very underrated. Franklin can easily win this, though. It's just going to be a good fight. They're both top performers. So my prediction, it's hard to go against Rich Franklin. He's been doing pretty good lately. Griffin is always like a toss-up, like an oddball. You never really know what's going to happen in Forrest Griffin fight. I'm going to go with Rich Franklin by unanimous. It could be a split decision. But two similar fighters, so it'll be very interesting to see what the deciding factor is in the fight. But wow, wouldn't it be something if Griffin overcomes him and like knocks him out with a one shot? That would be pretty cool. Yeah, Griffin's a funny guy. I tend to like not Anderson, Forrest Griffin, just because, you know, he's a regular guy. He's very interesting when he does his interviews. But the other fight on the card that I want to talk about, John Jones versus Ryan Bader. We really haven't seen a whole lot of Ryan Bader's wrestling skills. He is supposed to be this great wrestler, but he hasn't used it. He hasn't had to use it much in his fights. He's been pretty much knocking guys out. And he's got really good knockout power in both hands. Is that going to be an issue against Jones? I don't think so, because Jones is really good on his feet. not only his striking, but his evading. Jones has a number of ways to get you. The big question with Jon Jones, are his moves a little bit too flashy, too excessive? Is that going to get him into trouble against Ryan Bader, who pretty much is just bread and butter? He'll punch you or he'll get you to the ground. You know. But Jon Jones, longest reach in the entire division. I think that's going to play out pretty well to his advantage. If it goes to the ground, it's going to be very interesting because both guys are superior wrestlers. I think Bader has a strength advantage, so that could play a big factor. I think Bader's strategy would be to get Jones to the ground, wear him out, and then plant him with one of those hard right hands or even a left hand. Jones's strategy will probably be to use his reach advantage and his unorthodox striking to keep Bader off balanced. So my prediction is going to be Jon Jones, and I think it's going to come down to Jon Jones. I'm not sure how he's going to win. It's really, really hard to say. It's hard to say. So I'm just going to go with the unanimous decision. But there you have it. There are my predictions for UFC 126. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, and I'll see you guys next time.